Hello, today is Wednesday, July 30th, 2025. My name is Daniel Mullany, and behind the camera again we have Nico Greina. And today we are here to film a video source inspection of a fully remanufactured 270F spin wrench dryer. Our end user is located in the UK and their PO number ends with 0777. I will go ahead and get the process running and then discuss the system while the rinse dry recipe is running. Here we have a cassette with 6-inch substrates. Okay, so we're starting off with our rinse process here. That'll be followed by purge and then 2 dry steps. So I mentioned in the beginning of the video that here we have a 270F spin rinse dryer. By 270, we mean that it is a tabletop system capable of running up to 6-inch substrates. So in this case, our customer running 150 millimeter is the maximum size that this chamber can fit. And it being a 270F means that it is an F model. The F model is configured with a brush motor and a ferrofluidic seal assembly. That's the characteristics of this style of SRD. Compared to an S model, which would have a brushless motor and a labyrinth seal assembly. Looking at the system, I also notice a few different of our configuration options available for it. We have DI water recirculation, we have an EMO, and you can't see this, but when putting the product into the chamber, I could see that we have an auto door lock on it as well. So that's going to be a piston that extends down and keeps the door locked while in operation. So instead of most spin wrench dryers, which just have the inflatable seal which locks the door, this one's going to actually have an additional piston that locks down through a fisheye hole and locks it shut. And what I should have mentioned in the beginning as well is that I have our customer's serial number on the back here, which is SRD-01760. All right, taking a look at the back of the system, I can see that we have finished rinse, obviously from the front as well, but I don't see any leaks or any issues with the drain line that's completed draining all the DI water from the chamber. So everything seems to be operating as normal. Now, in the circumstance with our end user here, this system was actually sent in for a full refurbishment service by Sitek and an upgrade to our Slick Device F1 controller. So, excuse me, when we offer a full refurbishment service, we go through the same extensive rebuild process on all of our rebuilds. We are going to take any spin wrench dryer and first do an initial visual inspection and documentation of the tool to make sure that the system is complete, or if there's any missing parts that we can report that to our customer before we begin our refurbishment process. We're then going to break our system down completely to the component level. From there, we're going to chemically clean and electropolish all metal parts, replace everything that's considered a consumable, such as windows, seals, tubing, gaskets, really anything that's going to be made of a material such as a plastic or a flexible tubing that can wear and tear over time. We're also going to rebuild all the components that can be, such as the motor and the upright positioner and the pneumatic valves. And then from there, once we have the system prepped with all the metal being treated, all the consumables being ready for replacement, and all the components being rebuilt, we're then going to assemble the head assembly itself following a strict QC process. From there, we will then take the head assembly, is what we call it, and we're then going to configure it how it will be when it's installed in the fab. In this case, this configuration would be a 270F spin wrench dryer, so a tabletop system with its own poly enclosure. This configuration also could have been a 470F, which would have been a single standalone system. It actually would have looked a lot like this tool, except for instead of sitting on one of our carts that we use for working on the equipment, it would have been sitting on its own poly cart that would have had a matching outer skin, as you see right here. The final configuration that it could have been in would have been a double stack, which would have been an 870F configuration. In that case, we're actually going to have 2 of these chambers stacked on top of each other with 2 independent control systems. That's one of the really important parts actually about the style of spin rinse dryer that we remanufacture and then also manufacture as new is it has two independent control systems. When you have a spin rinse dryer that has one control system handling both of our chambers, anytime you have an issue with your electronics, you now have both chambers down. And that really puts you at risk of having a completely down system, and it removes one of the best parts about the double stack feature, which is having two totally redundant process chambers. In fact, everything about both process chambers in a double stack is completely independent other than the drain, in which case the system has a combined drain. You'll have two independent drain boxes, but then it has a combined drain out the base, which frankly puts you at very low risk to any issue of the drain impacting how the process chambers are running their product. Okay, so we've got 140 seconds left of this spin rinse dry process. I've been constantly touching the system as we go. It's been quiet, there's been low vibration, and everything seems to be running great with this so far. I also have not seen any alarms pop up telling me that the system is running within specification. Our Slick Device touchscreen controller has a variety of features in it that are a big upgrade from the original 101 controller. We have the ability to monitor more components such as the N2 heater and the anti-static. We also have the ability to use the resistivity probe as a fail-safe alarm against DI water not being turned on when the system is running. We have manual modes that allow you to individually actuate all the components on the tool for troubleshooting. And speaking of troubleshooting, on the alarm page here, you actually have the ability to get troubleshooting instructions for the associated alarm locally at the system. So what you do is you go into our alarm page, you select the alarm that you'd like to learn more about, and we're now going to have a description of why the alarm occurs and then troubleshooting steps to follow in the event that your alarm happened. I think this is a fantastic feature because if you're novice to the spin rinse dryer, it empowers you to do troubleshooting locally at the system, and then the first call that you have to Sitek needing a part or additional assistance, you're already going to have completed the base level of troubleshooting in order to understand what component needs to be addressed. When getting in and out of the fab takes a bunch of time with gowning and ungowning, trying to get in contact with Sitek, sharing emails back and forth, documentation. Everybody watching this video right now has done this process of troubleshooting their equipment, whether it's something simple like a spin rinse dryer or an evaporator or a lithography track. You've gone through this process. And if there's any way that we can reduce that downtime by giving you that information locally so you can start that process on your own before even contacting the vendor, I think that's just a fantastic feature that our controller embraces in order to make that happen. And then lastly, you say, well, Daniel, all those features of this controller are great. How do we justify that? Well, we also have a purge saver built into the controller. So we're going to eliminate N2 waste while the system's in idle. It doesn't affect performance at all, but then oftentimes ends up saving anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000 per year in wasted N2. So now when you have that conversation with management or anybody responsible for signing off on this expenditure, you can say, not only are we getting all these fantastic features, but this controller is going to pay for itself as well, and it sort of makes that decision a no-brainer. So we can now see that our process is complete. We have a blue light indication right here. I can see that we have a successful run listed on the controller. All of that is in the data log as well. When I open the chamber door, I can feel the nitrogen still purging in warm here. The cassette is warm to the touch, and all of our wafers are dry and ready for the next step in the manufacturing process. All right, so that was a successful video source inspection for today. I'd like to thank you again for taking the time to view it. My name is Daniel Mullany, and this video is filmed for Sitek Process Solutions. If you want to learn more about us, please check out more of the YouTube videos on our channel. We got a bunch of educational videos too that are really helpful for maintaining your spin rinse dryers. But what we'd like most is just to give us a call at 916-797-9000. And you want to talk to me directly, dial extension 2201 and we'll have a conversation. I appreciate your time and have a great day.